Begin our Public Safety Committee meeting. We had a shot at 5 members today, but it's the 3 stalwarts, Mr. Zine, Mr. Smith, and myself. Colleagues, Ms. Stengel, who's not here today, tells me that item 4, which is a Clear Program grant, item 5, which is a harbor weed and seed agreement, and item 6, which has to do with burglar alarms, can be moved on consent. Okay. Zine?
Yeah, I just have a question, just a technical question on number 6. Does that mean that the alarm company will be required to obtain the permit? Just a technical
If they don't already
information only?
have, the citizen doesn't already have one.
If they don't already have one?
Morning, Richard T. Fank, Executive Director of the Police Commission. Yes, sir, that's the intent. The staff report that went to Audit and Government Efficiency Committee and the Council was filed without action, and Councilmember Gruhl is bringing this back to request the City Attorney to draft the motion, which will require just that. Prior to the installation of an alarm, the installing alarm company either will have to have a permit provided by the subscriber, or they themselves will be able to obtain the permit before the alarm is installed. So this will prevent those alarms being installed without a permit.
They themselves mean the alarm company?
Yes, sir.
No, perfect. Thank you. That's all.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So they'll have to come to the, just run through it, just so that if you're an ordinary citizen out there and you want an alarm, what will you have to do?
What our recommendation will be is, if you're the ordinary citizen and you subscribe to ABC Alarm Company, they come to sell you the alarm. They'll ask you, do you have a permit? If you say no, we're asking and hoping that the Department of Finance will give that company a block of permit numbers. Then they would fill that out, capture the $31 from the subscriber, remit that permit to the Office of Finance. So the alarm company would facilitate that for the subscriber and be able to do that at the time they install.
New subscriber, when you sign up with an alarm company, you're also going to have to pay that city fee, and presumably you'll have the ability to do that in one transaction.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
You said hoping that the Department of Finance. Why don't we just mandate that the Department of Finance do this?
That could be done, but I don't have the authority to mandate the Office of Finance to do that.
Well, maybe we should.
I think it's a great idea, Mr. Zine. Why don't we, this is a, Mr. White? This is a direction to the city attorney to draft an ordinance before us today? Is that what this is?
Yes, it is.
I think that is an excellent suggestion. Now, if for some reason that's not, Mr. Smith, you seem...
I don't know if you can put that in the ordinance, but I think the council could direct.
Or we could, how about this? Could the ordinance at least provide whatever enabling language, so that the Department of Finance is authorized by this ordinance to provide licensed alarm company, or whatever.
How about authorized and directed?
Direct them to come back with a way to do it, to facilitate
I
it.
mean, why not collect the money when they're supposed to collect the money, instead of maybe they will?
You could request that the city attorney, in conjunction with the Office of Finance, proceed with that procedure.
Cool. Let's do that.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so with that,
4, 5, 6.
said 4, 5, 6 are done. I would like to beg the indulgence of the 2 chiefs here and ask you guys to just let us hear item 1 first, before we hear Chief Rapoli. So let's have the DNA folks come up if you call item 1, please.
Item 1, Police Department to present verbal report relative to the status of DNA testing, backlog, and cold hits.
I'm asking the indulgence of the chiefs because I want you to know that every week in the Public Safety Committee, we hear a report from the great people who work in and around the lab at LAPD, who work in the area of DNA testing. And we do this because I believe that through no fault of anyone's, our department still does not have the capability it needs to have to solve crimes in the 21st century using, in particular, DNA evidence. We know how to do it, but we don't have enough scientists in the labs staffed up to handle both the volume of cases that come in on a daily and weekly basis with scientific evidence, nor do we have sufficient resources to clear the backlog. The department has, over several years, requested additional resources with varying degrees of success from varying mayors and councils. This last year was a successful year, a year that was more successful than most in terms of adding resources to the lab, but we're still nowhere near where we ought to be in a major city in the 21st century. Not that other cities are, but we should try to get there. And so if I can just beg your indulgence for a minute, you're going to hear every week we have an update on the stats, and I just would love to have you guys hear that update as well. Take it away.
You want me to go first? Thank you. Yvette Sanchez-Owens, LAPD. This week, we had 243 rape kits that were requested for analysis but not yet completed. That's 7 higher than last week. We also had 266 other requests for analysis that are not yet completed. We also have a total of 7,166 cases in property that have not yet been requested for analysis. That's 8 higher than last week. So our total backlog of DNA kits right now is 7,675 cases, which is up 4 from last week.
I should also note, should we call item 3 at the same time, Mr. White? Why don't you call item 3 at the same time so we can have the other DNA item before us? Continue, please.
Item 3, CAO and Board of Police Commissioners reports relative to grant application regarding the 2008-09 Forensic Casework DNA Backlog Reduction Program, authorization to accept grant funding, and related matters.
So is there someone here on item 3 as well, or is that you guys? Okay,
That
keep
would
going.
be me. We have a total of 516 cases, rape cases, that have been booked into property since January 1st of this year. 397 of those have not yet been requested for analysis. So far this year, we have had 144 case-to-offender notifications in CODIS. And a little update on your $100,000 grant to us. We have 86 cases that have been included in this grant. 8 cases are currently in progress. 78 cases have been screened so far. Of those 78 cases, 51 have had biological evidence in them that was submitted for profiling. 51 of those cases are pending review for CODIS, and 8 have been uploaded so far. That's where we stand this week.
Thank you.
Detective Marty Miyakawa, Robbery Homicide Division, sitting in for Lieutenant Morris. To date, we've had 158 hits. That's a 16% decrease as compared to 2007, where we had 187. There have been 21 hits in homicide, an 11% increase as compared to the 19 we had in 2007. Cold case homicide is handling 3 or 14% of these cases. In sexual assault, we had 88 as compared to 94 in 2007, which would make it a 6% decrease. Cold case sexual assault unit is handling 45 or 51% of these cases. Rape special section is handling 11 or 13% of these cases. The divisions are handling 32 or 36% of these cases. In the other category, we've had 49 hits, a 34% decrease as compared to 2007, where we had 74 hits. And that would include, this category would include burglary and robbery. Of the 158 CODIS hits year to date, Robbery Homicide Division is handling 59 or 37% of these hits.
Thank you. And is there a report on item 3?
I was under the impression that that was supposed to be continued. I don't know.
Was it continued? Okay, all right, my bad. Well, any questions on the report?
I have one, Mr. Chair. The numbers you gave, 243 requested rape analysis and 266 other analysis, comes to 509. So there's 509 cases that they're waiting to have the analysis done where the detectives have requested that analysis be done.
That is correct.
Okay, and what's the time frame? Because I'm sure those cases are pending some kind of disposition. What's the time frame to get those 509?
Generally, we're running about 90 days.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anything? Well, appreciate your coming as always. Appreciate the work. Appreciate the chiefs sitting through this and just hearing my little sermon, which is gratuitous. But it's we do it in this committee every week because I'm just convinced that among all the strategies that we have to counter and decrease violent crime in the city, that's actually something that needs to be moved even higher along the food chain because by definition, anyone that we get a CODIS hit on for rape or homicide is a repeat offender. And they're one-man crime waves, and their evidence is sitting in a frozen locker plugged in Piper Tech. And just hoping that you guys continue to make sure the department puts that at the top of its list of priorities.
I've got one more follow-up question. In discussion with my colleague, Councilmember Smith, on the 509 cases, are any of those individuals in custody, or most of these cases cold cases? Because I'm concerned if someone's in custody and they're waiting that, do they release them and then seek a warrant? If they're in custody, is there a priority given to those individuals if they need that for the case?
If we have a, as far as the rape kit being tested,
Yeah, the rape kit and then the other analysis. You had 266 for other analysis and then
Sorry.
243 for
Mr.
rape.
Zhang, who's in custody?
Well, that's what
Explain
I'm
your...
trying to find out. If someone's in custody and the detective's requesting obviously,
The analysis.
detectives requested analysis in 509 cases. The question is, any of those individuals in custody, or are those cases where we don't have someone in custody because we can't hold someone in custody for 3 months? That's my question. Is there a priority given? They have a case, they have an individual in custody, they need this because the DA wants it. Is there a priority given to those cases, or do they have to wait the 3 months?
I believe there is, but I'm going to ask Greg Matheson to come up and answer that question.
I know that when detectives have an arrestee in custody and we are requesting analysis, we do request a priority on that case.
And if that takes 3 months, we can't keep that suspect in custody for 3 months.
What is determined is whether we're coming up on trial, and then it is a priority, and we've gotten them fairly quickly in our unit, 4 weeks.
But you can only hold them in custody on that initial arrest for a certain period of time, and then once they're released and they issue a warrant, and then they've got a fugitive detail's got to go out and find these individuals.
Correct.
Maybe you can respond to that, sir.
Yeah, Greg Matheson, Laboratory Director. Yes, definitely. I mean, internally, we have a prioritization system. The first are cases that are pending trial. If we don't get the work done, if the trial is going to be canceled or sent back, something like that, that's our number one priority. The second one is a suspect in custody. We definitely get those done so somebody isn't released back out onto the street for lack of our having the work done. After that are the ones that need analysis to go out and arrest or to identify the suspect.
So if a suspect's in custody and they've got a bail and they can't post the bail and we can only hold them a certain period of time, how quickly can that analysis be done? Because the concern is once they're released.
Right. We have a couple options available to us. If I have somebody in-house that's ready to take on a new case, they'll be assigned that, so it's ensured that the person doesn't get released. Normally, we can turn around a case like that in 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
And we shoot for that. If for some reason I don't have somebody available to do the work, we will send it to one of our contract companies with a rush fee and get it done. And we will not allow a case like that to go through unless
Those are
somebody
the cases I'm concerned with. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that presentation and for those efforts. Let's call the Chief Rapoli item. I understand that item 3 is going to be continued until August 4, and we welcome, you look like a high-tech entrepreneur today.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
We welcome the entrepreneurial Councilmember Ed Reyes,
It's good to be here, Councilmember Weiss.
fresh from his startup.
Item 2, communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Mr. Richard A. Rapoli to the Los Angeles County Emergency Preparedness Commission for the term ending November 16th, 2008, to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Mark Leap.
Morning, Chief.
Morning.
Usually these are pretty pro forma standard things and everyone votes for you, but
Well,
let
not
me just, yeah, but A, we have Councilman Zine on this committee, so there's always that wild card. And B, I just wanted to let you know how much personally I really enjoyed working with you when you're the chief in West LA. You were a fantastic chief out there. Not only did the community really appreciate you, but you made great decisions, great tactical decisions, great decisions in terms of how you deployed your resources. And I really just had a real high degree of confidence in everything the LAPD was doing out there, thanks to you. And really a big admirer of yours, and I'm glad you're going to be doing this as well.
Well, much appreciated. Appreciate your comments, and feeling is mutual. You were a tremendous part of that, too, with the support that you provided to the men and women that work the West Side. So thank you.
Well, anyone want to grill the chief?
Isn't your brother a high-ranking member of the fire department?
He's he's the evil brother council member. I am the good brother.
Okay, that's all I've got. Is Chief Basinger here to monitor to make sure that you pass muster?
Yeah, he told me he was going to buy me lunch after this. It was a,
That'll be a first.
Does he go everywhere with you?
sometimes.
He's a shadow.
Sometimes.
This driver, highest paid driver in LAPD.
Nah,
Wow.
He's good. Rapoli is a good man.
I thought Dennis was the highest paid driver in the army.
Well, you use a lot of gas, that's for sure. Read the Daily News. I'm going to turn my, turn my card for.
Are there any other questions for anyone wants to? We can only approve you if there's a motion. If there's no motion to
I'll make a
approve you, then
motion.
it's.
I'll make a motion.
All right.
I got to unbury myself.
For a moment, the committee almost adjourned there without a motion. So you just slid. All right, all in favor?
Wait till you go to council, then it'll really be a rough situation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
you very much for what you do. Thank you. Thanks for bringing your buddy. Is that the end of our agenda? No cards, no hands, no moss. Thank you, everybody.
Bring your sight. I ran up here.
But it was an important one.